Hello YouTube, this is Tyler England. At last I managed to get round to this video. I never thought I'd get round to it, but here I am. And this video will be about women's rights. That's what the video will be called. Now, this is just helped as a one-off, since I haven't been able to, I need to find some theories. I haven't got round to doing it. I should have some theories by Friday, or if not on Saturday. I'll do a few videos there. Anyway, as I said, this video is about women's rights. Now, society's not too bad on women's rights, but it's not good enough either, because as far as I'm concerned, women should be treated equally as men. I mean, without women, society would collapse, and women, though, if I'm saying the right, whatever, have achieved great stuff. Women, I'm probably not even saying it right, women, girls, or women, whatever one you use, women, or whatever, have achieved a lot of great stuff in this society, depends, anyway, we've had, Margaret Thatcher, and stuff like that, really, and then we've had, women who have also become women, or whatever you, ladies, whatever you want to call them, they've become, have become Olympic champions, and so on, See, women are definitely equal to men in terms of they should be paid as much as men get. Basically, men and women should have equal pay, and men and women should be treated the same as well. That should be a basic fact within society, really, in my opinion, to say the least. And I mean, some of you may not consider women's rights to be too much of a serious issue, but I do. And for stuff like Walt Disney and all the rest of it, they're the worst of the lot. Telling you that a woman's role is to basically wait for some annoying rich man to come along and save her and make herself look all attractive and all the rest of it. I'm not being funny, but a load of women get by these days without having rich and successful men. And even when you do, things can go crazy. Women, you don't need to wait for you don't need to wait for a rich man to come, because it's more than likely not going to happen, I mean, I think women should just accept that fact, that might help, them in some respects. Anyway, moving on to the issues of, girls making themselves look attractive. Now, I suppose that does make sense, so girls are like, a lot of them anyway, I'm talking about teenage girls here, whatever, but at what point does it go too far? I mean, once you post something out on Facebook or something of that nature, or YouTube or whatever, it goes out, across the world. So, I'm just saying, teenage girls, you can play with your hair or whatever, don't care, but you've got to be sensible. And I'm sure they've taught you at your schools or wherever. I'm sure you know all about internet trolls and safety on the internet and so on. You should have learned that. You've got to realise that, alright, maybe I can accept the fact that you want to look nice for a guy that you like, perhaps, but the problem is, it's when other people get the wrong message, sort of type thing, and then other people are tempted, and sort of type thing, where you could say that, and then it starts causing all sorts of problems. Women should be able to wear what they want, but people sometimes probably use it as an excuse, girls, or teenage girls, or whatever, go around wearing short clothes, or whatever you want to call it. Well, really, they should be able to wear any clothes they want without causing a problem, but you can't seem to do that. So, really, it's men that who do get involved with these cases with women and teenagers, and get into trouble with the police and so on. It just proves the men are weak and they are pathetic. They can't keep control of their own desires. You should really. They should. Men really. Some men are fine, but others aren't. It's just. Even if you think that girls or whatever, you just need to keep that to yourself. You need to control yourself, or you'll end up in prison or whatever else. And then there's the main problem I have with this society. When it says it sticks up for women, justice, and all the rest of that nonsense. Well, it's not quite nonsense. Well, you'll understand why in a minute. You're not really sticking up for justice. You are actually, whether you like it or not, big businesses are inspiring women, oh, you should look like this, or you should look like that, Basically what's happening here is you're putting propaganda in their brains that they have to be beautiful and attractive and all the rest of it. Well, no, they don't. I mean, alright, it might not turn out to be your exact ideal relationship, but, women you don't need to make yourself look beautiful. Just remember that. Don't fall for these nutter companies. All they want at the end of the day is your flipping money, and it's the truth. Unfortunately, big businesses, why they might seem alright, personally, whether, I just think personally it's society, putting propaganda into women's heads saying you should make yourself look attractive and all the rest of it. Anyway, that's what I just think. Women, they should be left to do what they choose, basically, and if a woman chooses to do whatever, at the end of the day, provided, of course, it was her own choice, then there's no problem. But there is a problem, when she was forced into whatever. So, I'm saying, you've got to wake up. This is a 21st century society, for God's sake. You've got to wake up, really, respecting women's rights, should have been introduced back in should have been introduced many years ago, but, it's people. And I mean, let's also not forget, a woman, helped out in World War II a lot. They took up jobs that would be considered to be men's jobs. What we've got to remember here is, women are just as equal as men. And, people need to start, if people, you might turn alright watching all these crazy stuff you get from society these days about women or whatever else, but, you need to really start building some sort of strategy or something to deal with it, because, any relationship with a woman could get out of hand any time, really. And then, therefore, you obviously get what's coming in your face. And I mean, it's no surprise all these feminist groups are around. All these feminist groups they're just sticking up for women's rights, nothing more, nothing less. Of course, the feminists are absolutely right, As far as I'm concerned, just leave women to their own business. Now, as much as feminism, sticks up for women's rights and all the rest of it, what we also need to remember here is some girls actually, choose this route. Some girls actually choose to make themselves attractive or whatever, which, well, might be alright, which is up to their choice, but, you know, what the feminists are trying to say here is, is that women should be able to do this and all that. Yeah, I totally agree, but it seems to me, as I said, people need to realise, 100 years ago was 100 years ago. Victorian age, well, the Victorian age, this is different, and women are just as important as men, really. And I mean, if you think that a woman's role should just be in that as a housewife, then you are a complete idiot, because women, whether you like it or not, haven't always just been housewives. I mean, that can be shown throughout history. I mean, I don't like to bring Joan of Arc up. Anyway, Joan of Arc, she led her armies, she led the French armies against us English. Anyway, as I was saying, she proved successful there, So, I mean, I'm not saying every woman's going to grow up to be some crazy hero or an MP or whatever, but what I am saying is women and men should get equal opportunities, no matter what it is. Even if it comes to, hey, high-paid jobs. I'm in favour for women's, rights to be... Well, I'm in favour for women to get high-paid jobs. I don't see nothing wrong with it myself. It's a thing that can be done. You see, it can be done. So, I just think society generally just needs to get its common sense on. And, society just needs to get its brain together and show women a bit more respect, I guess, because even now, the culture, unfortunately, that sort of thing is still around, and, unless we do something about it, we'll end up with even more cases. And, I mean, I'm not saying, but I very much, would like, I'd like the cases to at least decrease, involving women being abused or whatever by men, I don't know. I think those cases have increased. Anyway, that's just my personal take. As I said. As for the feminists, yep, I can understand their point. I understand where they're coming from. And a lot of stuff I can agree with them on, but there are those extremist ones out there. However, we could argue about, extremist, whatever I called them. What did I call them? Oh, I've forgotten now. Feminists, there we are. There might be those extremist feminists out there, but the majority, what a lot of feminist groups have to say is perfectly reasonable. They're not asking for a big deal, are they, really? All they're asking for is, at the end of the day, that women get more respect in society in general, and women should be seen as equal as men. And the stuff I've mentioned throughout the video, women should get paid the same amount as men, and all that stuff. That's all they're saying, and I don't think that's really a big giant massive ask, to be honest. I mean, I think respecting women's rights should be fairly easy. And those sort of extremist feminists, well, every group or whatever has its extreme side, but then again, there's probably a reason why they became, I imagine, nutters. So, generally, I think the idea of feminism, feminist groups, I'm fine with, but I think society was better than it was to women's rights, but I wouldn't exactly call it, the way the way the feminists want it to be. Anyway, sorry, that's enough of me dragging on about, you know, women's rights. This was just a thing I thought I might as well do. I guess I'm going to leave you to this evening. Well, I hope you have a lovely evening, and, well, just remember, in general, men, please respect women's rights a bit more. And this is Tyler England signing out.